Are we doing normal?
It's your world, boss.
Hey, welcome to the cyberTAP podcast. I'm George.
I'm Jim.
How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing fantastic. And Mike just feels the need to pipe up and overspeak us, you know.
You don't question the talent.
No, I was going to give you guys an introduction to the podcast, but
they don't need an introduction.
they don't. But they're here, and our listeners don't know that they're here.
The viewers do.
The viewers do.
Viewers.
So on today's podcast, we're going to be discussing the hot deals or no deals for Black Friday 2024. And we brought back Matt and Mike. Yes, the original hosts. Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I just can't wait to wreck this entire podcast. I've been thinking about ways to mess with Eric and to mess with Jim. So first of all, I'd like to say this podcast is brought to you by Diet Coke, the sponsor. Diet Coke sucks.
Yeah, we have no sponsor.
No, there's no sponsor. I'm gonna make Eric edit so much of this thing if I can. That's my goal. That's my goal today. You fire me, this is what you get. This is what you get coming back. No, kidding, of course. I'm kidding. We are not sponsored by Diet Coke, Reese's, or Kit Kat. Just happens to be what's in front of me on my table.
All delicious, though.
All good. All good. But I'm excited to be here, of course. Thanks for
Diet Coke.
Thanks for having us back, George.
You're welcome. Mike, what's been going on in your world?
Do we get compensated for this?
Yes.
We're being paid still.
You don't even have to take PTO to be here.
Boy, we'd never get a guest on this show if you had to take PTO to be here.
Life's going fine, I guess. I'm a Purdue football fan. I guess a Purdue fan. Football's having a big drain on
Let's
that.
not talk about
fanhood. Yeah, okay. Maybe I should move on.
Are we just not talking about
bad.
Purdue football?
Got your sprinkler all shut down for the year?
This is me going, I don't know, because the person who installed it, who said that it was part of the original cost, did not show up, didn't schedule, basically told us that, yeah, it'll happen.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
For the industry.
Matt's eating.
Told you I'm just going to make this thing I was going to say a naughty word, but this is family friendly. I'm going to make it a doo-doo show.
That's what our listeners have been wanting.
That's what's been missing. Me talking with my mouth full.
So it is November in the United States, and I don't know.
It's a special day today, right?
Now, if it's November in the United States, is it November everywhere else in the world?
It is.
Oh, okay, good.
Well, no, it's 6 months off in Australia because they're upside down.
I think that's just the seasons.
Okay, just the seasons?
Just the seasons. But toilets do flush backwards there.
Okay.
So where I was going with that is, we celebrate Thanksgiving, and it's been at least a U.S. tradition that Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, is crazy mad Christmas shopping day.
Yeah.
And we typically talk about gadgets and tech and innovations that might be available during that period on this podcast. And so I'm just going to open it up. Have you guys been watching anything on your wish lists that you've been watching?
I would say in honor of today, which the people watching this may not know what exact day that this is being recorded on, but today is Election Day in the United States.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Yeah.
In honor of today, I was looking at some potential options, and what I came across was a Fisher-Price Stuff the Ballot playset.
Stuff the ballot, Fisher-Price. Okay.
Teaching little ones where every vote counts twice.
Is that a thing, really?
No, it's not a thing.
Okay, you just made that up completely? All right, that's pretty good. I'm thinking if Fisher Price, because I couldn't see them doing that. But I think this is a good business idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, in Chicago, they've been voting early and voting often for as long as I've been alive.
Decades.
So, yeah. So here's my hot take, George, on Black Friday. So for those of you maybe listening abroad, not familiar, the Friday after Thanksgiving, as you were saying, George, is a crazy shopping day. When I was a younger feller, teenager, so think mid to late 90s for me, Black Friday was really kicking off, I think, then. And it was hot. Like, there were good deals. I can remember, getting a printed ad, newspaper ad or something like that coming to the house saying what's going to be the hot deals at Walmart or whatever. And I kid you not, the Walmart in my hometown in Northwest Indiana made the news out of Chicago several times because that's where people would stampede and they'd be fighting over stuff. Fist fights over the seven. I don't think anybody died, but fist fights over a $7 toaster. But the thing was, is you could get a sweet 19-inch color tube TV for really cheap and a new VCR. And like there were good deals to be had. But here's my hot take. I don't think it's a thing anymore.
No.
I think they advertise Black Friday. I think they advertise Cyber Monday. I think Amazon, I'm calling them out. Because they don't care.
Well, they
Nobody's
do their own
listening anyway.
Prime Day anyway.
Prime Day's nothing.
Year,
There's
yeah,
nothing.
so.
There. When I look at the deals that get published, I do not get excited about Black Friday anymore.
No,
That's just my hot take. I don't know about you guys.
Well, and Amazon runs enough. If you're focusing on Amazon, I mean, they run enough deals throughout the year outside of Prime Day. If you watch any item, it's guaranteed to dip to quote Black Friday level prices at least once or twice throughout the year anyway. So that mega deal that you're going to find on Black Friday, I think, is non-existent. However, I will throw out a PSA. Have you guys heard of Camel?
I have, yes.
Yeah, Mike was just talking to me about that. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you can put in a URL from Amazon, and it'll show you the price history of that item over a year, 2 years, 5 years.
Nice.
And then if you make an account, you can set an alert. So if it drops, you can tell like, hey, if this thing drops below $100, send me an email. And
So does it? And you can look at it over time.
yep,
So
so
you
you
can
can
see
kind of see what
So
the
can
max
you?
and min
Could you?
are.
If you were like, let's say, we're talking tech, right, George? So.
Yep.
My boy Cooper's a teenager. He wants a 3D printer for Christmas. That's what he's interested in. So if I went into Camel and put in an Ender 3 Pro on Amazon, or if I found it, could I see if it was what the price was in the last 2 Black Fridays or around that time, like a late November period? Like how granular can you get? Could you look at specific periods of time to see kind of what I could expect? Because that could be an interesting tool then for me.
Here's the Ender 3 V2.
V2, yeah.
Let's get so you take the URL,
Fair deuce.
drop that into Camel.
Hey, we're doing this live. This
We
is
are
a
doing
live
this
demo.
live.
This is dangerous for live TV.
Yeah.
And so here's
Careful.
here's the price history on it for
All right.
It's Camel,
back to
Camel
2021.
Yeah, watch the toes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can see it's dropped significantly, but that's probably because it's maybe phasing out on the model year.
V3's out, I think, now, right?
Well, this is a V3 or Ender 3 V2. And
I think
then
a
you got the
V3 is
V2
out.
Pro.
I think there's a version 3 now, too.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, also, yeah.
So yeah.
Don't
So
quote
this
me on
is
that.
this is pretty much at the lowest price you're going to get
Yeah.
based on the history. But then if you're somewhere in the middle of this, you can set an alert so it'll send you a price.
So can we see if it dipped on November each year? So, like, if we look at not a
In
little bit, right?
2023, maybe a little bit.
Well, dipped for what it
Before
was.
that, no.
It dipped and it came down. It looks like if you look in October 2024 and then you look, it did dip and then it came back up right at the beginning of 2024. It looks like, right?
Yeah.
Or right before. So December prices probably shot back up. So maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind
But
of cool.
but it's a good way to at least compare if the Black Friday deal they're telling you is worth a damn or not.
Yeah, if it is anything special for the
Right.
moment, or
Chances
whether or not
are
it just
probably
happens
not.
three times a year.
So I did some homework because when we got the invite to come back for the show, they said this would be the topic. And interesting enough, I wanted to see what Costco was running for their deals. We don't even have a Costco.
That's what I was
in town.
wondering. I'm like, we don't have one nearby.
I miss Costco.
But
Yeah.
you can order online, and most
I don't have
things
a
will
membership.
free ship.
I don't have a membership anymore, right? But I
You can
miss
slide
Costco.
into my DMs. I'll hook you up with
All
a
right,
membership.
George, I've been sliding into your DMs for years. Everyone needs to know that.
Careful.
So I was looking, and there was a few things that caught my eye. So I'll just mention a few. They have a 2-in-1 laptop from Lenovo that's $650 or whatever. It's a 5i. I didn't even look at the specs, but it has a few of them here, like 16 gig memory, a terabyte solid state drive. And not that I'm necessarily interested in it, George, but personal, like, I guess, plug for Lenovo, which I'm not recommending it on behalf of cyberTAP, but personally I bought one of my kids one of these when they were entering college. And I'll just say it's been a fine machine. It's not nothing fancy, but it's a good little worker. The one thing I will say about this company is it got wrecked, and they fixed it on warranty. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to put too much of the business out there, but there was a oopsie. The thing stopped working. I opened it up, tried to look at it. I said, I'm just going to try to send it in for warranty, and it came back with a new motherboard working great, and it's been working great. And it was a easy process. So not necessarily a plug for Costco or any particular deal, but I had seen when I was looking around a lot of deals on Lenovo's were coming up.
You gained a little brand loyalty, is what you're saying.
I would buy again, just from the fact that the warranty, was honored. They took care of us. It shipped out within a fairly short period of time. A couple of weeks, it was shipped back and
Hey,
working.
the art of customer service is dying. So if you had a good experience, that's something to brag about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The other things I saw at Costco, this is showed up on my son's Christmas list again, was a big curved gaming monitor. And so I was kind of looking for curved gaming monitor deals, and Costco had one for $229.
How big?
It's a 39 inch.
It's a 34-inch.
34.
What's the,
So a 34 Acer
resolution?
Nitro. This one, it's a UWQHD, whatever that means. Ultra wide QHD. What is that?
Quantum HD, maybe?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Sounds fancy.
Sounds like a brand name there.
Sounds fancy. But that's a big monitor for a couple $100. I thought that didn't seem too bad.
And usually with Costco, you'll get the extended warranty for free. Like
Is that
they'll
right?
add-
Oh yeah.
Like it'll go to 5 if it had a 3. So it's a good
They
place
used
to
to
buy
have
tech.
a take anything back for any reason policy back in the day.
And
I
they
had
might
an
still.
I had an HDMI port die on a TV that I bought from there. Like 3 years later, I took it back and they replaced it with a bigger, better TV. At
It was
the same
no
price.
extended warranty. It was just,
Nothing.
You just bought it from the store.
Yep.
And,
They got rid of that because guys like me would take back.
yes,
sure.
right, of course.
But it had a dead HDMI port, so I took it back for a good reason. The last thing I saw at Costco, I'll mention, I don't even know what it is. Jackery Explorer 3000 Pro Solar Generator Kit, but it made me think of something I've been kind of eyeballing a little bit and interested in your guys' opinion. Like these really kind of heavy-duty electric battery backups that you were replacing like a gas generator for your house. So we know that you got the Tesla Powerwall and those types of things. With that's
High end.
That's high end, right? But I've seen a lot of these, and this one, if you look at the pictures here, it's
that Ankler?
It's like Jackery is what it's called. But I know what you're talking about too. But it's on wheels. It's got a handle. This one comes with a couple solar panels. It's $1799.99, so it's not inexpensive.
Seems too bad.
But have you guys looked into these? Have you thought about these at all? Kind of whole house
I've looked
battery
into a little
backup.
bit.
What did you find, Jim? Out
I mean,
there? What are you
they
seeing?
are-
They're expensive.
$3,000 to $4,000
Yeah.
for some of. I don't even know if you'd call it name brand, but for some of the
The
advertised
ones that are
competitors
stackable
out
that
there,
you could expand if you needed
Right.
to.
and I think some of those included the solar panels and some of the recharging things, but I don't know if that one does or not. But some of those you can just plug them in and they'll just plug in on standby instead of solar recharging. I'm sure you could plug that in. But $17.99, that doesn't seem like a bad
Well,
price.
This
I mean,
one,
it-
one was. It says 3,000. I didn't see like how many kilowatt hours it would generate.
Yeah, so that's
off
what I'm
the
saying. A
battery.
lot of the use of that is like how much can it really support and what do you need it to support? Like this isn't a whole house backup system. So
You run your freezer, maybe your
freezer,
HVAC.
refrigerator,
Mm-hmm.
and HVAC. I mean, I could probably live
Sure.
an hour or two without it. So,
Saw.
but if you think about it, I mean, a Generac whole house is going to be $10K plus to install if you're running off of
Natural
LP or
gas.
natural
Mhm.
gas. They're so expensive.
Yep.
Is this a future thing that maybe look out not for this Black Friday, but I should be looking out for next Black Friday? I don't know.
If
I've been
there's
thinking
next
about
Black Friday.
Well, these are
If
mobile,
it is election
right? So if
night.
you got to bug out, your power
Yeah.
goes
Well,
with you.
that's
Your
right.
Generac
That's right.
stays
And
attached to the house.
another benefit I've heard on the battery packs is they're silent, so you don't draw attention. You don't have a generator running outside your bedroom window all night. There is some benefit to having a silent option.
I like Jim's. You can tell a lot by what somebody says. And if you look
Quiet.
like just a little bit between the lines, he went. It's quiet, and he said. Second, he said, it's not running a generator outside your bedroom window. The first thing he said, it doesn't draw attention. It wasn't like you won't annoy the neighbors. It was not drawing attention.
Right.
This guy is planning for the
Yeah.
fall
Somebody's
of
gonna
the
come
country,
steal
the
it.
collapse of the dollar. He's prepping.
When's the polls
Doomsday
closed
over
tonight?
here.
6 p.m. Is that?
The bunker door shuts.
So that was just a few things I saw and interested in. One, I mean, I got a bunch of other things that I noticed that were interesting, but
I've seen a
curious about
lot
some other
of
folks.
offerings in that space too, right? So even just the consumer batteries you'd buy for your phones, Ankler and what's the other?
Anchor,
It's Anchor.
Anker.
It is Anchor.
Mm-hmm.
They make a pretty big
Is no
system.
L in it?
I don't think there's no.
But I don't remember
It's
there
probably
being as
right.
many options a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anchor. No L.
Yeah, I don't either. I've seen them popping up, and to see
need
one
a
kind of
Jamie
for
that
sale
can
at
pull that
Costco
up.
for a decent
I wonder if
price.
these
Yeah.
would just be
A Jamie
household
that can pull
items in the
that
next
up.
5
Yeah.
years.
Please.
Say that again,
Do you
George.
think there'll be household items in the next 5
I
years?
don't know. I mean, I'm just kind of curious if battery technology progresses, prices start to come
Well,
down. It seems like it would make sense for a few
Depends on
reasons.
certain administration. It might require everybody to have an EV, and then they use the EV as your battery backup for.
Oh, I did like the Ford Lightning though, where you could plug it back
Did
into
you
the
see
house.
they shut production down on those?
No,
They're closing the factory down until further notice.
Good job.
Yep.
Nice work.
No interest or
I would imagine
think,
the
yeah, lack
demand
of
was
demand.
high, but then it took so long that you lost some of that demand, and they probably can't.
Yeah, there were some launch issues on it.
Yeah, they probably have some issues they can't resolve.
Neighbor of
Yeah.
mine has one.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't talked to him about it yet.
I've seen a
but-
couple around town.
Yeah, he's a faculty member.
What I saw based on them is that they don't work very well at the current infrastructure for the charging spots.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like wherever they have their charging set up.
It's
on
got to
the
be
vehicle.
around the town vehicle.
Yeah, it doesn't
only.
fit.
Well, and the Mach-E, Ford Mach-E has the same issues, that the infrastructure is not quite there. There are a lot of charging issues. The
Mhm.
interface at the charging stations for it are a little wonky. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
do you think you could rely on a battery system? I mean,
Well,
goes dormant.
That's been
No, fossil
right.
fuels, gas.
And that's honestly been that's my biggest holdup on the battery systems. I mean, battery life, they're
It's gonna
expensive as
degrade.
heck to replace. And if you spent $4,000 or even $2,000 like this Costco deal on a gas generator, minus some engine maintenance, it's guaranteed to last for the foreseeable future. But who knows? I mean, batteries don't like to sit.
Yep.
They need that charge discharge cycle. And even then they go dead after a while. Like, you know, this might be a budget option, but what is the long term effect of that?
yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're really talking apocalyptic movie stuff here,
Mhm.
gas, they're out of gas within Act 2,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, early Act 2, the world's out of gas.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, I'm not thinking for the apocalypse. I'm thinking for I live rural, so the occasional power outage.
Yeah.
Understood.
And but even then, you know, if it sits dormant for 5 years and you get a day or two of outage every year, I don't know how often you get
Yeah.
out. We don't get many at all at our
Yeah.
place, and we're out in the country.
Yeah, we're pretty good on where we're at.
You know, I don't know if it would warrant that use.
But if I
Or
roll it out to the
disuse and-
campsite with us and
Yeah.
power us,
Right.
go high-tech camping or something, you know,
Yep.
get to use it a little bit.
Power
Mhm.
your
Yeah.
Starlink Mini.
Mike, you and I were talking a little bit before we did this recording. You had found some interesting stuff out there. What'd you see? Kind of
so
deals that were intriguing to you.
I kind of went not the trajectory of what was given to me from a bullet point.
Imagine
So
that.
It was deals that you would be interested in or would run or recommend, I think was the bullet point. I went completely the other direction. Deals that I thought were either kind of ridiculous or maybe fun but totally impractical. So the first one I've gotten, this kind of was why I led off with the Fisher-Price not real thing. Because there is a real thing, not from Fisher-Price, but it's from Kids Clean Car. You heard about this?
No.
So it's a motorized plastic
12
like
volt?
like a vehicle. I don't know what the voltage is, but apparently you have young kids sitting on top of
Jim?
it as they're driving
Yeah, I'm
around.
going to need you to send me that link.
What you do is you put a
Eric?
bunch of paper towels or like a mop,
Like a mop, like a
surface
Swiffer
on the
mop,
front of
like a
it.
Swiffer mop head.
So you put some cleaning supplies or material
pull
down.
it
This is
spray
for
something.
indoor usage.
For indoor use, hard floor, I would assume.
Check this thing
Yeah.
out.
And they drive around just cleaning your floor for
Oh
you.
wow, that
Look
is
at
on.
that. Swiffer
Your
on the front.
grandkids,
That
George.
is on my short list as of right now.
Okay, so in this room, there's funny. So I have teenagers. It's not me. Mike,
Let's
no
camel-
kids,
camel-
no
camel
kids.
this thing.
Okay.
But technician Eric, Jim, George as a grandpa, you all. This is for you guys. Mike's really bringing you guys some heat
Yes,
here.
as I said, I
is
went the other direction.
banger.
I would not buy
Is this the best price though?
It
All right,
is.
it dropped from one, and then there's not a whole lot of history on this one.
Yeah.
It dropped quite a bit.
The one you found showed LEDs. I don't think
Yours
the
doesn't
one-
have
I
LEDs.
don't think mine has-
Dang,
Oh,
that
maybe
thing
this is the
is-
off-brand.
Yeah, you got a different brand, but the same idea. Same-
Yeah.
just stole by some foreign.
So
Oh my God.
so George for the grandbaby Linus Torvalds or Linux.
Linux.
Do they have a
Linux,
lawnmower?
the
Linux G?
Well, let me get to
That'd be
I'm gonna
pretty
get to
sweet.
something else next. I
Okay.
don't think
That
that
thing's-
one's a lawnmower.
No, I think you
I think they're
I think you
driving
just
it outside.
tuck it in. You take
Yeah.
the front end off, and you can just take her off road
Put a
too.
weed whacker on it.
Yeah, that's
I mean-
safe. Say goodbye to your Achilles.
But I was thinking of you, George, when I saw this because I know you have some very interesting stories about your Roomba.
Yes, we have the J7, which is supposed to be pet waste proof.
Pet waste proof.
Supposed to
the
be.
fact that that's even a selling point, it shows what a problem that is.
And with Roomba, it was warranted for the first year that you own it. So we bought one, and it might have been a Black Friday deal several years ago, but within that 1 year warranty, they had shipped us 3 other Roombas because it did not live up to the warranty.
For pet waste
For pet waste.
identification.
It ignored the
They
the
literally-
left waste and just
So-
kind of plowed-
George's house literally
through it.
trained the AI 90% of its trained data. You know what I mean? It's
So
learn-
if you want free Roombas, have dog waste on a dark wood floor. You'll have some cleanup to do.
yeah, I'm gonna say no, not for me.
So with
That's
the
a no
warranty
for
is
me,
they just
dog.
say throw it away. They don't want it back.
Yeah, I'd
But my wife is OCD.
I'd send it to him anyway.
And
Yeah.
she gloved up and did massive surgery on these things. So now we have a Roomba in every room, and we have no more dogs.
They got
so
a slight funk, but
no, I mean she
But-
she sanitized those things. Take the batteries out first.
The
she did
real
fry
question: will your grandchild be able to identify pet waste better than the Roomba if you buy him this little ride-on?
one. No, I think it would be a challenge to see how far he gets smeared around. So,
Next thing you know, he's writing his name.
but luckily we have cats at the moment, and they're pretty good. So
Oh man, that's a pretty good one, Mike.
thanks for bringing
That's
up that PTSD
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah, George, it's okay. We'll hug after the
It's
show.
a safe place.
But I think that's a great idea for all of you guys to get your kids. Honestly,
160.
that
That's
thing's pretty sweet.
Lennox would love it.
It's just a ride-on too. It's just a
Yeah.
fun ride-on thing, and then might as well put a mop on the front of that joker, a little dust mop.
and our kids are super competitive. So if we got 2, they
You're
would
racing
race.
around.
Yeah,
or demolition derby. maybe
yeah,
a
that
little
could be
bit.
too. Yeah.
Well, you could replace that front mop head with some weapons, some
Jousting
cow
sticks.
catchers. Mike, what else did you see out there on
All
that
right,
same
so
vein?
if we're staying on the theme of automation, there's another, and it's probably been out a while, but the Luba, Luba.
This is scary.
Are we
sounding.
going Diddy here? That kind of-
Yeah, I
No
think he's
Diddy.
got
No
a-
Diddy.
It is an all-wheel drive automated lawnmower.
Okay.
So I don't know if Jim wants to bring
That sounds
up on the
dangerous.
screen.
I'm gonna pull it up here.
Again,
I like the concept.
interesting concept, but
Battery
I
operated?
don't know if I have the faith. Yes, definitely battery operated. There's 3 different models. I think it's just the size of the battery
Nice.
for how much acreage it can support.
You can definitely strap a
Quarter,
seat on that for the
3/4
kids
acre.
too.
Yeah,
Put a
but
saddle on that joker.
the thing about I think the way you set this up
Is that
is
the
you
camera? Okay.
you don't have to install the
Thought that was a hood scoop.
physical barriers like the sensors and things. You have a remote control RC joystick, and you drive it around your property so that it can record where the boundaries are.
Gotcha.
You train it.
and then it stays with.
Then you get a little bit of GPS shift, and next
Well,
thing you know, you're in the
maybe.
neighbor's
I
yard.
mean, who
Yeah, the
knows?
worst thing you're doing is mowing the sidewalk
Yeah.
and the
So-
neighbor's dog.
Again, how much do you trust automation?
So fully autonomous.
Your
once you have it
Roomba,
trained.
your Roomba can't stop for a pile of dog crap. I mean, if this thing's driving over you with spinning blades
With
or
a hose.
coming to hose or
Hose or
Neighbor's
just
cat.
a big stick.
some other,
cat,
I don't know. It
Springfield.
says it's got the physical bumper as a sensor. It's got an infrared, and there was one other sensor option for it.
What was the
but
price on that thing? though?
2,500.
You can pay a lot of
2,500
13-year-olds
for
to
a
mow
lower
your
model.
grass.
Yeah.
It goes up from there.
Goes up from 25.
Yeah. So that's the one that covers.
Oh yeah, here we go.
3/4 of an
2.5
acre.
acres. There we go. What's the difference?
$4
just bigger.
grand.
So it's a larger battery, so
Yeah.
it can go more acreage. And then there's one thing about height. You can raise some of them higher than others.
Well, if somebody else is mowing my grass, I want that sucker to look like a fairway. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Wire free. So I guess that implies that other ones
That's-
work off like a dog
Yeah,
fence.
so you have to
Yeah.
install the sensors, physical sensors to keep it within.
Starts beeping when it gets close to the fence.
But yeah, 2,500 is not a low barrier of entry there. So for a
no,
lawnmower,
that's expensive. Yeah. I saw one thing, Mike, in my searching after you had mentioned this, and I was like, I wonder what else weird stuff. This wasn't on a Black Friday deal necessarily. I think it came out at consumer electronics shows or whatever. So Jim, see if you can find this. It's Skyted, SKY, like Sky, TED.
TED.
Sky Ted, like Sky
Okay.
Ted, one word. Silent mask.
Yeah. Okay. There's the.
So apparently there's this thing. See if you can get it to come up. There's this mask that you can wear that makes your conversation silent. So if you were in a public place, I'd like to strap this onto a few rude people I come across in my life. But if you need to have like a business call or whatever in a public place, you can wear this and it mutes the conversation. They can't hear you.
Noise canceling mask, essentially.
It's a noise canceling mask. Did you find it? There it is. I'm Gotham's Reckoning.
I was bored in the dark.
Yeah. What do you think of that?
Wait, but
So Bluetooth, your phone.
if that's on speakerphone,
Well, it's probably Bluetooth, as
he
George
needs,
was
like,
saying.
got
headphones though.
Well, yeah. So they can't hear him, but everyone else can hear the conversation.
Well, I wonder if
so
it's
he
like
needs the
bone
headphones
kinetic,
on.
where maybe
This
he
is
can
this
hear
is
It's
Jim.
the
This is what's
microphone.
called an advertising photo.
Okay.
So that's not.
Oh, see, this guy's got the headphones.
There you go. Yep. See the silent mask. So that's something, isn't it?
It's not very
How
attractive.
many sneezes does it hold up to?
Yeah, and also, do you smell your own breath the whole time? Because that also could be a benefit. I'd like to buy this for a few people that I have conversations. Here, you should try this. And they're like, man, my breath really smells like I licked some of George's pet waste that the
So
Roomba
can you
picked
hack
up.
it and then do like voice changer?
If it had a voice, yeah.
Join the meeting.
Oh, that's not bad. Okay, I
That
was
would
trying
be
to find so on Kickstarter,
Yeah, it's an early
$200
thing,
gets you one, but the planned retail price is $800. That's a significant discount.
Subscription based.
Yeah.
We will
Interesting.
shut off the ventilator.
Yeah,
pay
I
your monthly
didn't. I hadn't looked at it close, but how do you breathe would be a good.
Through your
You
nose. Oh no, not through that one.
Yeah, I mean it looks pretty intense. It's so for those that are listening and not looking at the video that Eric's producing for the show now, it's just a thick
You
over
could
the nose,
kinda
over the
look like
mouth
Shredder.
mask.
So this is
Or
going to show
Bane.
my ignorance,
Yeah,
but like,
Bane, that's why I did the Bane
Yeah.
thing.
like
yeah,
motorcyclists, how do they communicate while they're driving on the motorcycle?
yeah. It's just a microphone
With
headset.
their finger.
With their finger?
Yeah.
Well,
You're number one. You're gonna have to censor that out. I saw it. On the video. You're actually gonna have to blur out the middle fingers.
All
That
right.
just I did for the record. That one wasn't me.
let's put this in the context of a phone call.
Or
you're
with
trying
their
to communicate
with their
through
other
through their-
other like people
Yeah.
in their caravan
So they have
or whatever.
built-in microphone systems.
In
Some of
their
the helmets
In
do.
the helmets.
Does it shield from airflow as they're driving? Like, 'cause I would assume you get a lot of wind.
Sometimes they have the full face mask. Sometimes I just see like the little.
Because I could
microphone
see
coming
maybe
out.
something like that being beneficial for
Oh,
that.
so wearing a helmet instead of the mask.
All the golden
Wearing
guys. All
No,
the golden
well,
guys
yes,
have the.
on a flight, wear a full motorcycle helmet and
But then
No, I meant-
someone could read your lips.
wearing the face mask here instead of wearing a helmet for the communication portion of driving. I don't know.
So, without saying too much, in my previous work, I did know of some devices where people could have sensitive calls in public places, and one thing that they talked about is there was a way to scramble the voice, but it interfered with everybody else around. So there's a speaker system and a microphone system and all these
Kind
things.
of a jamming as well. Or
It had a distortion so that when you spoke you couldn't hear anything except for what was coming out of these speakers. But then the one kind of operating procedure that it didn't account for was lip reading, and so the person using it would just cover their mouth, and it would use like a Bell or a Bose like headset for a helicopter, because those are, you can have a conversation on a helicopter that's obviously very noisy, so it's a good microphone. It's a good so. It made me think of that a little bit. Like there might be,
so will football coaches start to wear these?
I know that's
Yes,
interesting.
they don't have to use their little play sheet to cover their
their
face. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you think you say that? Skyted or Skyted?
Skydid? I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a weird one that I saw. Mike.
Yeah.
I don't see how the name applies to the mask. Sometimes it follows the product.
Do
but
they make
I don't
other
know.
products?
It doesn't. Well, I went to their page and I got a 404, so that's not.
That's not
the
good.
best.
Well, it's a Kickstarter anyway, so they may make nothing. Those don't always succeed.
Yeah. Have you guys ever done a Kickstarter?
No.
Yeah.
I did one.
I did one.
It was a
It worked out
like
well.
a pen, right?
I did a scribe, like a circuit scribe is what it was
Yeah,
called. Yeah. So you could draw
remember
little
that.
metallic circuits.
Kind of a
and then
3D. No. Oh.
it wasn't even 3D. It was, I mean, somewhat 3D, right? There was a metallic ink that you would draw, and you could actually draw a circuit and connect a battery and little bits and bobs to it and make it like,
Like
make
STEM,
things light up.
STEM
yeah.
project.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Played with it with my kid.
That's cool.
Yeah. It did come out. I mean, I did receive it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So these are the things to me that, I mean, I could see the use of the little go-kart mop thing that you showed. That's pretty cool. But there were a few things that I was thinking about from like a recommendation standpoint, and I'll give you just a few of them on it. I'm going to go fast, and then you guys can pick on which ones you want to talk about. So we're all Remarkable users. I love my Remarkable. There is the new Remarkable Paper Pro. So this is a writing tablet, like your old e-ink readers. So we all have it, right? So we all know what it is. But for those listeners that don't, the Remarkable is a writing tablet similar to how you had your e-readers like Kindles and Nooks and all that. But this is for taking notes, and it's good for one thing, in my opinion, taking notes. And that's what I love about it. It doesn't do anything else, but they've got a new one. The Remarkable Paper Pro has some color to it. It has some different features. That's a good thing that's out there. I highly recommend the Remarkable, but I will say this, the Remarkable Paper Pro, you're looking at about $630 to get into one with the device, the pen, and enough to make you dangerous.
The regular one's not cheap.
Here's a couple other things that I recommend. I love my air fryer. We got an air fryer for Christmas not that long ago. I love an air fryer. We can talk about the benefits of that or not. Another good thing that I've gotten around Black Friday time, and I think you're going to be able to find good deals on, is Simply Safe Home Security. Again, not a sponsor. I'm a Simply Safe user. Now you know how to break in if you want to try me.
Yeah, 40% off deals right now.
Yeah, so you're looking at kits with multiple parts cameras for as low as a couple $100, which is great. And those, I have the outdoor cameras. I've got a full setup at home. I love it. And then Walmart has Walmart did not release its deals yet, so I couldn't tell you what they are. But I saw on a Walmart post on the Walmart website some of the things you might be able to look out for that I thought were pretty interesting. Again, another Lenovo i5 laptop for $299. We talked about it's the same crap that keeps coming out. That's why my hot take is I don't think it's that great of a deal. You can get some Beats Solo. How many times have Beats been on a deal, a Black Friday deal? Well, you can get some Beats Solo 3 for $69.
The same product they've been making for the last 10 years.
Are they still by Dr. Dre, or did that get sold?
Dre
they
sold
them
them,
to
I think.
Apple.
Yeah. Then the Apple iPhone 13. What are we at, 15 now? There's
16, I think is what they're
16.
advertising.
You can get a 13 for $200 though at Walmart on Black Friday deals. So that's not a bad deal for a decent phone.
That's a good deal.
And then a 65-inch Samsung 4K
Buy that
smart TV
$200 iPhone and trade it in for a new one.
Yeah, you might be able to. There's a 65-inch Samsung smart TV for $398. So if you need a TV, I think that's always what's on the Black Friday deals. But probably my favorite thing that I've seen, and this is a very, very contentious topic, this particular product that I love, you can get a good deal, Amazon, Walmart, a few different places, on Crocs.
Oh,
listen. See, I knew it. See, I got Jim into Crocs.
I'm a convert.
Yeah.
They're good house shoes.
Listen, I wear them as house
I have
shoes.
dress Crocs and work Crocs.
You have dress Crocs? I need to get me a new set of new pair of dress Crocs. Listen, I realize that
it's the
this, movie Idiocracy.
This generation's
right?
Birkenstock.
Well, I don't know about that.
Class,
it's different. Crocs. You put them on your feet. It's like hugging your feet. It's like a shoe that literally hugs your feet. It's like clouds for your feet. I'm a believer. I realize that movie Idiocracy, if any of you have seen that, where most people think it was prophecy, and we're living in this generation right now, and I see the parallels. And Crocs is one of those things. They literally said, let's find the ugliest shoe out there and put it, because no one will ever wear them, and they'll look ridiculous, and everybody's wearing them in the future.
So two questions.
Good
for
deals
you,
on
Matt.
Crocs. Okay, so that's my rapid fire things that I think you could look out for if you're interested.
So two questions: socks or no socks with your Crocs?
Socks and Crocs every time. Socks and Crocs.
And
unless I'm at the pool.
How do you feel about those generic Crocs? There's lots of
they're all trash.
lookalikes.
I had a pair of lookalikes. They're trash.
They're trash. They have their place. They're good for shower shoes at the gym if you need that, or if you just need a $3 extra pair of but they aren't the same. Don't
Durability,
think you can replace
comfort.
them.
What makes them?
Yes, that's all bad.
Okay.
On the cheap stuff. They're not as comfortable. They're not as durable. The off-road mode doesn't work as well. Harder to snap in your snow plows. Jim printed me 3D snow plows for the front of my Crocs a few years ago.
I recall.
So I'm not a giblets guy. What are they? Gibbets? What are they called? Giblets. The little things you snap in.
Charms you
the little
pop in
charms.
there.
I'm not. I don't do all. I'm not.
You don't bedazzle your Crocs.
We don't do the ducks in our Jeep, and we don't do the little bedazzled Crocs. But I love a Croc, and there's some deals out there. So I'm not ashamed. I've come out as a Croc lover today, and I'm okay with it.
Just not in public. That's the differentiator.
I don't.
My wife said not in public.
I don't wear them out so often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got there, Jimmy.
So I had to throw this up. You were talking about
That's your thing. We've had this conversation.
You were talking about the toaster oven, and I always counter with the Pizza Pizzazz, which I last purchased.
I was
in
talking
July
about an air fryer.
31st, 2018.
Does it work?
Oh, it is amazing. We use it
thing. I just
multiple times a week. 3 to 4 times a week. That thing's always spinning, and it's. This is actually I bought the one I bought in 2018.
It's like one of the
was a
hot
wedding
dog
gift.
rotators at a gas station.
how
It
much
just never
room does it
stops.
take, like to store that thing?
Enough. I mean, if it's a pizza, so the disc is about
It isn't
16
one
inch
you like.
disc.
You never put it away though, do you?
Oh no, it stays.
It's
out.
on the counter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a pizza
It's earned
oven
its spot.
on our counter, and it is obnoxious for the space it takes
Is it
up.
a Pizza Pizzazz?
It is not a pizza pizzazz. It's actually self-encompassed. So
Oh, you don't need that. This is probably more compact.
Is that so the flies and things can fall on it as well?
Yeah.
Well,
It's
what
seasoning.
kind of
It's
dirty,
seasoning.
filthy houses do you guys have? Jim doesn't have this problem at his house.
Well, at least
Yeah.
if you had a square pizza oven, you could stack things on top of it.
Yeah,
right?
well,
if you needed to.
you'd have to take everything off when you want to actually use it. 'cause they
So,
warm up,
so Jim has sung the praise of the Pizza Pizzazz for years.
I'm adding
in
to my
my
list,
presence.
Jim.
You need to.
But you don't just cook pizzas on it. That's a key
Everything.
thing.
If it goes in the oven, it goes on the Pizzazz. Same amount of time.
Like if it goes in the oven, like a frozen lasagna.
So what do you put in your
Sure.
oven?
Everything.
No, the oven, your actual
Oh,
oven.
I mean, we don't use it.
Don't
If,
use
we,
it?
if we're doing
Just
like
the
two
children.
pizzas, one might go in the oven, one might go in the Pizzazz. Totally worth it. They used to be about $40, so inflation's gotten a hold of this. We're at 90. It's on sale for 54. It's a good deal. I mean,
Yeah,
that's 6 years ago
yeah.
pricing.
39% off right
so,
now.
you know,
Well, so is that date you last purchased?
I bought that as a wedding gift.
Is that? Oh, so it's not yours.
Well, mine's
How long does yours
gosh.
last if it's used
Mine's-
as much as it's used?
12 years old.
And,
13,
Okay.
and do you
more.
leave it? Do you kind of leave it a little bit seasoned?
It's got some seasoning.
You
I will
clean
put a
some of
foil.
that.
Like sometimes I'll put a foil down if
Okay.
it's something that's like going to be messy.
Yeah.
But the surface is nonstick, so you could put whatever you want on there,
Yeah.
and it technically won't stick.
Jim
especially if
will
oil
sell
it
you a
first.
Pizza Pizzazz.
Does it
You
does
should
it
go door to
cook
door.
faster?
No, same amount of time. So like if it's a frozen pizza and it says on the box 12 minutes
Yep.
in the oven, put it 12 minutes on the Pizzazz, comes out the same.
Do you have to let it heat up first?
It has a dwell period. It takes a couple minutes, but I built
Is it faster than
that's
the
baked
heat up
into
on
the
an
cake.
oven?
Yes.
See, so you can cook a pizza faster
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Well,
it takes you as long. It
So
takes my oven as long to
obviously,
heat
I would
up as
assume
it
that
does
this
to
is
cook the
electric.
pizza.
What is your oven, gas or electric?
Gas.
Okay.
Yeah.
There might be a different heat up time.
Right.
Based off temperature.
Mine's
I don't know.
gas.
Yeah.
That's what mine is too.
Yeah.
I have a lot of gas. So.
So anyway,
Same.
good deals to be had in the Pizza Pizzazz right now.
I
Just
kept
throwing
it
that
in the
out there.
chamber the whole time.
Can't overlook the Pizzazz.
I got a couple more. I don't know what timing, what these podcasts we
Yeah, we're good.
Or target. All right.
I mean, we could be here for hours.
We'd
This
be-
needs
all
to
right.
go.
Yeah, this is
this needs to go
important stuff.
long form.
All right.
Joe Rogan 3 hours. Let's go.
All right, we're in
Can
it.
you look up infiniteobjects.com?
InfiniteObjects.com.
And this is kind of the other direction.
Let's
I
make
went
sure
of-
you before you put it on the
It is
screen,
not-
you get the right
it's-
website
it's-
though.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
that's why I'm.
It is an actual product, PG, unless you go to the wrong site.
I make no guarantees.
All right. So what this is, it's like a digital picture frame,
Okay.
but it's not one that you can load in one video. That's it for a lifetime.
What's the point of that?
It's like buying a painting,
But it's a
But it's
video.
a lot.
but it's a
Live.
video.
So is this meant to store, like, present your NFTs?
It can. So if
Oh.
you scroll down, there's options to do that. There's pre-designed.
Do you give
videos.
So do you send your video to them and then
You
they
can-
load
you-
it so you can't mess with it?
Yes.
Ah.
Now you can
Challenge
select
accepted.
from a collection of pre-designed videos if you like some of their prints.
So
or
that's
some
like
of-
buying the
So, like,
frame
get-
at Walmart with the
family already in there?
in it. You just kind of
Yeah,
get that.
so-
Getting a framed art of
So
someone
here's the
else's
question.
children.
Do you see this as something like a painting where it's a one-time purchase and it stays what it is? Or because it's a digital, would you want the ability to be able to upload different things as your tastes change?
I think it depends on the use case. So for like grandparents, where you just want to send them a family picture and they're not tech savvy, they're not going to change it. No one can change it for them, so you don't have to worry about it being abused or compromised. I could see that. For me, I'd want to change it because
that's where I would come from as well,
So
especially
just-
when it's like $300.
Just looking at this, I would not pay $279 for this little cloud bouncing around for life. No
well, maybe
way.
you've bought the NFT though, and now you own that NFT.
But this is just a prepackaged one that comes from
Yeah.
them. I would much rather spend like the $80 or discounted right now for 71 of a family video to put on there not to be confused with the rental outlet family
Yeah.
studio. But
Rest
I
in
would
peace.
rather do that than spend $300 to have these little dudes walking back and forth.
I just want to let you guys know that most of your TVs have a USB port where you can load a video or some pictures
Yeah.
on it
And
for you.
do
Like,
that.
I think this has got to be one of the worst ideas I've ever seen in my
That's what
life.
I thought it was. I mean, for the price and for the reuse of
Infinite
it,
objects.
yeah, stinker.
Yeah, it's
Thumbs down.
I think this is a real stinker. You and you can quote me on that.
On
If
the-
you want to reach out, you can reach out to me. I don't care.
On the standard frames, like the ones that you can, that'll do like a slideshow. Can you do
Yeah.
videos on those already? Do those do video?
I don't think so.
Eric's nodding yes.
My
Maybe
old
the
ones
newer
couldn't.
ones?
I don't
I
think
don't
my
know.
old one.
I don't have a modern
Okay.
one, but
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think, I mean, all right, let's say that's like a 3-second clip, the one that they're showing on there.
Well, so I was reading into this, and it can hold up to 24 hours of video. But here's the thing: no audio.
Yeah,
Only does video.
So
you could do-
24 hours of what
you
do
could
I
do
want
your
to see on my
wedding day
wall?
and your
Well,
wedding night
Yeah, wedding video, I guess. Well,
on loop.
you went a little far on that one.
I heard wedding night. I heard wedding night on there too. That's filthy. But-
yeah,
So I guess the only thing I could think of, like, I think, because George, you thought of the NFT. I get that if you're big into that kind of thing, having the one and only thing and you want to display it, fine, that's fine. It's art. It's you'd have to do something like I saw some of the canned ones they had, like the stick figures walking or whatever, which isn't, I guess, but that would appeal to someone. But if you
Steamboat
were
Willie,
if you were an
Bears.
artist, if you were the artist and created some animation
And
or
then
some
sell
looped
that.
video, or you
Put it in your.
and you wanted to have it in your gallery,
Gallery,
or
yeah.
like you're just very artistic and you enjoy that kind of thing. And I do like art as much as the next guy, but I could see an application for that. But outside of
well, you mentioned art. What about
outside of that, Eric's whispering something. What was that?
Yeah. But like you were saying, as an artist, like if you were an artist and you created not an NFT, but you could create a copy of your art. Let's say it's a GIF or something. You could then buy this and then resell it. Like, hey,
it's like a litho print right
here.
here.
You crack it. Here's a copy of
Yeah,
whatever it is.
right. Again, there's an artist's
Mm-hmm.
use
But you'd have
of
to
it, but-
resell it.
but not at that price point.
Yeah,
What was it, $71?
I was shocked that it's a one-time use, and you have to buy a new frame if you want a different print.
No.
Like, I can understand if there's a small fee for changing.
So
people.
$107 for an emoji. So what we're seeing here on the screen, folks, like we keep forgetting about our audio listeners.
Yeah.
There's a $107 picture frame that has an animated emoji on it for $107.
They can't be selling.
But
these.
you get
There's
the
no way
frame.
they're actually
And
selling.
the frame's
these.
acrylic,
But
so
you get
it's
the
not
frame.
a fancy frame.
Neat.
Yeah.
This was something, Mike.
Well,
Those are
I
real
told you I
stinker.
went down.
You did the rabbit hole.
Oh,
The
see,
rabbit
all right,
hole
but look
of-
at this.
This is the
Okay, on this one, they're limiting it to 200.
purchases, so you feel like you've got something special.
Right.
So what we're seeing now is like a shuttle taking off with blue
This is
smoke.
going to be Beanie
and
Babies
it's
in 10 years.
not even.
Yeah.
Because there's the price
Right.
point doesn't let everybody go
You can't
crazy.
re-
for
there's no
these.
way you could resell that for $269.
I mean, it's art or it's nothing for me. This doesn't make sense from
I think the NFT is the biggest use case I've heard
art
yet,
and NFTs
where
or
you would
whatever,
want to
yeah.
like
In that
display
space
something
is-
that
is-
isn't changing.
I would not.
But I
say
can- but
bursting
NF
at the seams.
But
Long-term
NFTs
battery, you're going to have to charge this thing. I don't see the
NFTs
cords.
have always had the same problem. I can still right click, copy, paste your NFT and put it in that frame.
Mm-hmm.
And are they checking to make sure I hold the wallet for the NFT? Probably not. So I could just print your NFT on my wall anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, but that comes down to again like the fake Rolex. The only people that know, or, people that don't know won't care, and the people
Yeah.
that do know.
And also, these are 7 inches and 10 inches. The extra large is 10 inches, which granted is extra large.
7 inches is pretty large.
It's average.
But for art, that's not big.
Right.
If I want an
Right,
art,
you can
a
putting
piece
that
of
on
art
the
on my
wall or
wall,
something.
yeah,
It's not a lot of
36 inches
space.
by.
Yeah, I mean, that's really
Right.
desk art. When you put it on your
desk art, and that makes it even less interesting. But wow, Mike, what a stinker! Thanks
Yeah,
for sharing.
so I got one more.
Okay.
One more of these stinkers.
It better end on a high note from what you're telling
Well,
me.
this is loosely connected to the remarkable statement, but the opposite end of the spectrum,
Okay.
in my opinion. So, can you do a search on Free Right
Yep.
Traveler?
Free Right Traveler.
See if he gets the right.
Well, you talked about remarkable, so it's got to be WRITE.
It is, yes.
Is this similar to like a Rocket Book, where it's a reuse notebook? You wipe it down.
No, it's not quite that basic, especially not the cost. So this is being advertised as a no-frills, disconnected digital typewriter.
Which is a keyboard.
It's a keyboard and a small little e-ink screen. So they're advertising that the features and the benefits of this $530 item is that you won't get distracted because it's not connected to anything. But it is connected to Wi-Fi because it does able to
Sync to the cloud.
sync to your cloud to send your written.
Hipsters are going nuts
Yeah.
right now. They're
So
lining up.
would you pay $530 for the benefit of not having features that you can get on a laptop?
Are hipsters still a thing?
No,
I
this
think
is
so.
this is like a $30 Pi
But
Pico.
if you scroll down, like the very first bullet point on what they talk about, well,
Too far?
Too
might have
far.
gone Too far. Jim's a little fast scroller.
We need a much larger screen.
So what it looks like, it's just a little flip phone, a little bigger than a kind of old school flip phone, but it's a full size, looks like a chiclet keyboard
Mm-hmm.
with a small e-reader for those that are listening again, or a small like e-ink screen.
Where the display,
But it's just a typewriter.
with the display, it doesn't really match the width of the screen.
Right. Oh, so that's it. The whole thing's not a screen. That's just an image on it. That's that little square piece with the people is the screen.
I
and that's all
Look
dead
at the
space?
picture. Look at that other picture with
yeah,
the
that's
fingers.
what I think so right there.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Why they could have at least done that whole thing as a screen?
Yeah, that's a bevel.
That's a lot of wasted space.
yeah,
Is that what it's called? A bezel?
bezel,
Bezel.
Not a
Yeah.
bevel.
The
Bevel's
bez-
different.
bezel.
Bezel. Bevel's an edge,
angle,
like a
angled edge. Yeah.
Right first, edit later.
So the very first bullet point is just eliminate distractions. So for those people who struggle to resist distraction,
Well, that's
Okay.
where you put your "Fight the Machine" sticker. You know. That,
yeah.
So I agree with the distraction thing. That's one of the reasons I do like the Remarkable, because I'm not getting emails on it when I'm in a meeting trying to take
Yeah.
notes or whatever.
But you doodle.
But I do. But doodle's a concentration
doodle
technique
anyway.
for a lot of us,
True.
right? So I doodle, and it helps me listen because I'm not thinking about doodling.
Mm-hmm.
Does this thing
You're
integrate with
diddling?
like
I'm
Grammarly?
It's a different
and
thing.
Again, Diddy, easy.
Diddling.
Not at that price point. Not at
No.
Not at $530.
but I mean,
Even at $100,
$30,
I feel like that's a big
it's
ass.
just an extra thing you carry with you. That do these
That's a
people not
small-
have a laptop?
That's a small market right here.
Yeah. It would be fun at like a $40 novelty.
Like to let your kids play with.
Yeah.
To make them
No,
think
to
like they're playing with.
Take
a
it out
laptop.
at the coffee shop while you're listening to angsty music.
Yeah.
Eric said, "Why are you looking at me?" I'm not. I was just seeing if you were laughing at my joke. It wasn't. Yeah.
well,
no.
the keyboard looks too
That's
small
something.
too.
Is it even a mechanical keyboard?
It looks like it to me.
better be.
I think so.
Let me go back to the.
I want like 3/4 of an inch key travel, right? That's I want, and I want the sound kerchunk. I want the
Yeah.
hammer coming down on the old style type. Okay, so I had one more too, and it's the Atari 2600 Plus.
Emulator or the real thing?
Well, it's a
Are
reproduction.
you reselling your own inventory on
No,
this podcast?
I actually
Plugging
I sold an Atari this weekend, a 2600 6-button light, Telegame, Sears branded. Anyway, okay, bit of a video game nerd. Just anyway, so I love the Atari 2600. It was the first system I ever had, and this actually kind of intrigued me because the Atari 2600 Plus, like a plus sign, looks just like the old Atari, plays Atari cartridges, uses old Atari controllers, but all of the inside is new. And you can HDMI it to a TV, so you can just play the old stuff on. It's much easier to hook it up and play it today. So
I
one of the
assume
things
it's the
that
same resolution.
So no
though.
embedded
It's still-
games. You
still
actually
the
have to have
same,
cartridges.
yeah.
there are cartridges. So if you go down to that like fourth picture, Jim, so that looks, for those that are like,
Oh yeah.
it looks just like an Atari,
10 games on one cartridge.
right? And that's not. There's
Right.
plenty of games that have like multi games on it, like combat. It's like military
River
combat. which
Raid
you-
was on that, and
combat River Raid is a different game, but combat was like you could do tanks, airplanes, helicopters, and you're just shooting each other. But there's 27 different levels or little mini games basically.
That could be fun.
So this and I will tell you that at 120 it's $129.99. A heavy six, like an original Atari 2600 heavy sixer, which is a 6-button, one of the early ones made in Sunnyvale. They're $100 anyway for an old one, and they are difficult to hook up to a TV. You really have a tricky time getting them to play on new TVs. I use like a little coax to RF adapter to plug it into an old CRT TV. That's the way we play on my old 2600. But I thought that was kind of cool. So if you're retro, and retro video games are pretty popular in a lot of places right now.
It looks like it uses dip switches to pick between the games, which is fun. Looks like those are
That's how you
the combos on the dip
game.
switches that you select each game.
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Anyway, I thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of and there's all the NES Mini, the SNES Classic, where they have the embedded games. But this one that you can actually still stick cartridges in is pretty cool. And there's other like retro game players, so like Retro N and Hyperkin, and there's a few companies out there that make good players that actually play the old cartridges.
Mm-hmm.
You can plug them into newer TVs. But I saw this one and it was up my alley. So.
And at $129, you could buy almost 3 of those for the price of that
Free type.
that typewriter.
Free
There
ride.
you go.
That's way better.
Yeah,
You get
I
30
agree.
games if you do that.
I don't think it works that way, Jim.
I'd
Yeah.
like to. It'd be cool to open this up and look at the difference in the electronics between the old one and a new one. I'll bet the electronics inside this are like the size of a USB drive. I'll bet.
Well, buy it, Jim.
Oh,
I've got
sure.
one you can an old one you
Okay.
can open up. You have to buy this one to open it up, though.
I got to buy the old one too.
No, I'll let
Oh,
you
okay.
open.
Are you
it's like-
$130 interested in knowing that answer?
Honestly, that's a reasonable price. There's no way that keyboard should cost more than this.
No.
I'm a little stuck on the keyboard. I think that's
Yeah, you are. Yeah,
dumb.
you are.
But for
Well,
$129
then I've done my job.
to especially if you want to live the nostalgia, that's a small price to pay. Okay. Anything else?
How many minutes before the younger generation would we get bored with the style of gameplay that comes
What
with
were
the
the
games?
games?
Well, I mean,
games.
Roblox is a popular game platform these days, and it's
So you see combats on there. Adventure, that game's I think would be tougher for Haunted House.
Missile
would be a tougher
Command.
game.
That was a fun game.
Missile Command is
yeah.
fun. Surround, Yar's Revenge is one of my favorite. Surround is one of my favorite. So Surround is like is it Snake.io? Did you guys ever
Yeah,
play
yeah.
Snake.io?
Yeah.
So that's what that game is, except
Okay.
you're running. You can't. There's no angles. It's just north, south, east, and west. You
Mhm.
leave a big tail behind. You don't have to eat to get bigger, but you get bigger over time, and you try to trap your partner
Mm-hmm.
or your opponent.
Tron.
Video pinball.
I've
is always
trapped my
fun.
partner. That's a different story. Trap your opponents.
I'm surprised they didn't include Pong.
Well, Pong was its own thing kind of before Atari.
Right.
too.
Always branded.
Yeah, Breakout
Yeah.
would be a similar. Yeah, but there's
Missile Command though.
a
I
couple
could
good
get
ones.
into Missile Command.
Yar's Revenge. That's what you're like this wasp-looking bug,
Mhm.
and you're shooting and it's shooting and you gotta break down the base. I love Yar's Revenge. So anyway,
Yeah.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
Get one.
Okay.
Let me know how it
Should
is.
get one for the office.
You should, George.
Okay. You heard it. It was approved.
Is that the way it works?
Yeah, my executive director said buy it.
Yeah. Okay. Is that the way it works?
On company funds?
I didn't say that.
Oh well, that's
It's a different story altogether.
a different story.
Well, on that bombshell.
And then the disappointing ending to another after show.
So we've been at it almost an hour. It's probably time to
Is there
wrap
anything
this up.
anybody would buy from the items that we've discussed today?
I think I'm gonna seriously look at the Presto
The kid
pizza.
card? Oh, the Presto.
Pizzazz.
Pizzazz, yes.
Pizza
It's just
Pizzazz.
Jim's enthusiasm.
Every time
that makes
somebody
you-
buys
It
one,
is.
I
He-
get $5. So.
He's a genuine fella, so I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna put it on my shopping list and see if anyone
Okay.
buys it for
There
me.
you go.
I might buy me some Crocs.
But it is the online shopping season, so as a cyber podcast, I would be amiss if I didn't warn people to just be mindful of where they put their credit card. Go with vendors you trust. Stay away from Temu.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
going to get what you think you're going to get. And, you can go to privacy.com and get burner credit cards and burner email addresses. So if you're out there shopping and you don't want to disclose your own credit card, you can sign
What
them
does
up
that
for free.
cost? What does that cost?
So for free tier, it's free for so many burner credit card numbers. Now, you're obviously going to have to give your
You
real
guys know
credit
about
card
this?
number to
No.
privacy.com.
I'm looking at.
I know
looking
about
at Mike
burner
and Jim.
phones, but that's a completely different.
Okay, I know this because of Darknet Diaries had talked about it on a couple
okay.
episodes, and I think they advertised it.
Maybe they might be a sponsor.
Like
Yeah.
preloaded credit card.
No.
No.
What are we talking
So
about?
George, we got a few minutes. I think
Like
it's
tiny
interesting,
URL
yeah.
for credit cards.
Exactly, right. So you would create an account on privacy.com and give them your credit card number.
So-
And no so.
Date of birth, first pet's name.
And you would issue yourself either a one-time use credit card number or a credit card number that you can lock to a vendor. You can set spending limits on that credit card number. So if you want to put that in your PayPal, right, then you can say, well, PayPal purchases can only spend $250 or whatever threshold you spend.
But then that number then links through your credit card.
Yeah, so when you use that in the merchant will charge that, and ultimately it will post against your real credit card.
How? But if that credit card that new number is working as a pass through, how does that not prohibit somebody else from using it as a pass?
Because if you have it one-time use.
one-time use.
Yeah,
Okay,
so you can set it for one-time use.
Or you can kill it.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
Without killing your actual credit card.
Right.
Correct. Correct.
okay.
Same with email addresses. So even as a free user of privacy.com, you can create as many burner emails as you want. You sign up for something, or you're going to
Maluga.
create an account somewhere to purchase something, and you don't want to put your real email because you know they're going to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
You can just create another one. And you
Okay.
can just turn it off when you want.
So can you? So if you have a number, like let's say you use this, it's not a burner. Is that the right burner credit card number?
I would say
or a
disposable.
mask?
Maybe a mask.
This credit card mask, right?
Yeah.
If you use this mask number, can you turn it off and turn it back on? So like just say I use it in a thing that I don't use very often, but I'm a little bit worried about the security of this particular site, like Temu or something. I'm not saying Temu, but whatever. We could pick on anybody. And then I could just turn it off and turn it back on when I know I'm going to go
Yeah, I
use it.
believe you can lock it and unlock it.
Kind of like freeze your credit, but you can actually freeze that that version of that credit card.
If you know you only use one.
Have you
vendor.
used it, George?
Not with credit cards yet, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to give them my real credit card. Just it's out there enough. I
Just to
suppose.
make sure that,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
They've
I've
been
used
around a
their-
little while now.
Yeah, I've used their email generation, and it seems to work
So
well.
then, if you're shopping at, let's say, Amazon, we've been talking about Amazon a lot. You could have
An Amazon
George,
number.
George Amazon at whatever.com email, and that way all spam or notifications would come through that without that you giving your real email.
Correct. So it would still get forwarded to you, but when you start to get spam, you know where it's coming from.
Right.
And you can either go turn that email account off, or you can unsubscribe that. You can do that with Gmail by just adding a plus at the end of your email. Right. So baileyga@gmail.com is my personal email address. You're
just
welcome.
put it out there.
Well, I'm sure I've been
Here it
doxed
comes.
before. But let's say I wanted a cyberTAP podcast specific Bailey GA. It'd be Bailey GA plus cyberTAP podcast @gmail.com.
I didn't know that.
Really?
Huh.
And then when that
glad I
email
came
comes up,
today.
I know that cyberTAP podcast sold my email. We don't do that. But if it had happened, I would know.
We don't take anyone's email.
You would know the source of it.
You got to email us first.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
But you couldn't turn it off though. With Gmail, with this other one you can.
Correct.
Right.
With Gmail, you cannot, right? It's out there. Gmail is going to continue to route that.
Right.
So the temporary number for the credit card, does that show up as the same credit card brand at the merchant level? Like, so if you have a Visa
Right.
and you have that recorded with this privacy, they issue you a temporary number. Does that number show up also as Visa?
I believe.
Can you spoof it as a different?
I don't know.
Credit card
I don't
type?
know if you can request
That would be kinda
MasterCard,
cool if they don't
Discover,
take a
or
particular
Diners
kind, but
Club
yeah.
for you
Got,
old
like,
guys.
they don't take
VPN
Amex
or
or
certain credit
certain
card
credit
number.
cards sometimes
Yeah.
come with different kinds of fees.
Right.
It's a virtual private
Yeah.
number
Yeah.
instead of a virtual private network.
Makes you invisible to the
But
credit
some
card
credit cards will
company?
do this
Hey,
for
this
you
might
already.
be a business idea. Let's not.
So if you're interested in, one-use credit card numbers, check with your merchant page. They might
Yeah.
do it already.
Oh, really? I didn't know. I mean, I
I don't think
heard of
JP
privacy.com,
Morgan
but
uses. I don't know that they do, and that's probably disclosing
You
too
said
much
it's
on
privacy what?
this. Privacy.com.
Oh, just that's
it's hard to remember.
it. Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, that's good advice, George. I had heard of that again. I think through Darknet Diaries.
They probably sponsor there. I need to. Maybe that's where I learned of them.
I don't. Yeah, I know that's where I've heard of it. It's pretty slick. I may need to think about that. I've made sometimes you pause and like I'm not so sure about the Shopify website or
Oh, yeah. Yep.
something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But a lot of times that's where you find interesting things is from
Etsy.
small vendors or
That's
creators.
inexpensive.
things like that. So I'm like, well, maybe that would have been a good way to just protect myself to do a one-time, and knowing that I might not go back, or even if
Exactly.
yeah, that's really good.
I mean,
Good advice, George.
I hate to say it almost sounds too good to be true, though. On the free plan, 12 new cards per month, that seems like a lot. I would think 12
But think
per
how
year
many
would be
online
plenty.
purchases you might make a month.
True.
Different card for
many-
every utility
But
card.
outside of vendors, I don't know that I really stray outside of certain
All
vendors
right.
too bad.
That we can't. We're going to end up talking, going really long for
You
them.
said
But
3-hour session.
how many unique numbers can there be for a MasterCard that starts with 5 or whatever? Because doesn't MasterCard start with 5 or something?
Oh, yeah, because
Visa starts with 4
Yeah,
or
the
whatever.
first 4
It's like-
numbers dictate what the card type is.
But then, and
I
then
don't
so
know.
Yeah,
then
you would think
have,
all the numbers have been.
And how does
Then
this
you have like
company
12
know-
more numbers. How many combinations are they going to run out like IP
But
addresses?
how does this company know what numbers are available? Do they have a block of
They probably
numbers
have a
that
block.
They
They
can
probably
use?
have registered
They
a
must
block.
have had to buy the numbers, right?
I would
Or
think.
how do you do that? I don't even know.
yeah.
Ooh, we can ask some of our banking friends. We have some. Jim and I do some banking programs, and we need to ask them how to credit card numbers.
Because they
decide.
aren't the processor, so they must have a partner that they're running transactions through.
Sure.
And then maybe they get the cards from them.
Interesting. Definitely worth looking into, though. I'm
Things that
curious.
make you go,
Huh. Okay.
So if we've talked about anything you want us to talk more about, reach out to us at Jim.
CyberTAP podcast at Purdue.edu.
we're using the same one, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Same one.
Change. All right.
Yeah.
Not
Don't
We
need
don't
to
change the
reinvent
good
wheel
stuff.
here.
Yeah. Wait, they don't change the good stuff, which means. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, that was an
it
insult,
It
wasn't
was
it?
an insult. Yes.
reach out to us on socials, guys. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, right.